Hello, folks. It's Tuesday evening over here in the UK, and it's time for football from across the pond. This is, can you believe it? It's episode 7 already, Johnny. How does that work?
I don't know, it's a bit crazy, Nick.
Hopefully, people are actually listening to us. So, yeah, this week was a bit of a comeback down to earth for both of us. I think Sunday night football, I'm pretty sure the CBS guys were pretty desperately upset with what game they flexed into the 9 o'clock slot, or whatever the Sunday night football slot is in the US, because the 49ers and the Broncos certainly put on some form of show. I'm not entirely sure what you can call it, apart from maybe a punting masterclass. I'm guessing you didn't stay up for that one, or were you up with shift wise?
I was not tempted to stay up for that game, and by the looks of it, I didn't miss much either.
You missed some amazing punts, some amazing 1 yard down, down on the 1 yard line and stuff like that. It was you get bad games and you just go, it's one of those. At least one team, if your team plays bad and the other team plays okay, and it's like, we got big. This one was just bad. It was bad. I mean, it was, I think, 17 punts or something in the game. It was, I think they got like 9 first downs. We got 7, 8 maybe. It was like just dire. One quarter we did well. We get one drive in the first quarter, scored a touchdown, got a field goal, and it was like, but that was it. That was it for like first 15, and then the rest of the time, just horrid.
I don't know why that happens, because like Ayuk seems to start the game, get a couple of catches, and then they just don't throw to him for the rest of the game.
It's weird. There's loads of talk. Yeah, it's like is Shanahan so stuck in his script that he can't get away from it? He's almost like, has he scripted the whole game, and therefore every play that happens, doesn't matter what it is, he's going to do this. I mean, our offensive line got absolutely bullied. Trent Williams got injured. He's out for 6 to 8 weeks. That could be our season, quite frankly.
Yeah.
That could quite easily be our season. Huge. The guy who came in for him just got, ran over and ran past for sacks galore. The one highlight play, shall we say, that came out of the game was Jimmy G. This is how bad it was, Johnny. We fortunately got Jimmy G to step out of the back of the end zone, take a safety, because of the throw that he then put in went for a pick six. The good thing for a Niners fan is he took the safety. Well, no, the safety was given. Didn't even take it. It was the Dan Orlovsky. He stepped out of the back of the end zone without even realizing where he was. That was
in fairness, he was going to get clobbered by 2 defenders, so he had to do something like that.
He had to, throw the ball away. It's as a professional quarterback, you don't step out the back of the end zone.
I saw some pictures from a 49ers fan, and there was 3 times if he's thrown it deep down the left-hand side, he had an open receiver.
Yeah, if he just looked,
didn't do it.
No, and that's
20 yards ahead of them, and he could have just overthrown them at any end. But
easily. And there's a couple of Debo was clear, Ayuk was clear, waving their hands like lunatics, and he's gone through his quick read. Everyone says Jimmy gets the ball out quickly. Sometimes that's great, but sometimes he just gets it out without letting the receiving route develop until suddenly he's like, he's looked there quickly and he's gone away from it. And if he just waited 2 seconds, Debo's just cleared off behind 5 or 6. Everyone's gone left. Debo's gone right. And stood there going, open field. All you needed to do was kind of throw the ball somewhere over here, and it'd have been a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that everyone's going, he didn't have the playbook. He didn't practice with the ones and stuff like that through training camp. And there's something to that, but some of it. I mean,
he didn't practice with the ones last week when they came back and they won the game.
You can't put it on that, and it was just poor. It was just he was missing throws, but again, I think the play calling from Shanahan was poor. Didn't stick with the run, didn't stick with the outside run, which is what we're renowned for. Just trying to keep battering it up in the middle with the wrong kind of running backs. It was just ugly. It was just so bad.
Yeah, Wilson's not a run through the middle running back.
No, he's not. No. But then, the flip side, it was almost like, I don't know if we were so bad that it brought Denver down, or Denver were also very bad as well.
I think Denver brings other teams down at the moment. They look at the first two games; they've been awful.
And Denver were no better at all. They,
No.
it was typical. It was typical Russell Wilson. He finally got it together. A couple of extended plays on one drive, running around, getting an open receiver. They scored the touchdown, which meant they went ahead 11-10. They went for two to obviously kind of offset the field goal. They didn't even get the 2-point conversion. It was just, and then they won 11-10. When 11-10. Everyone was, Twitter was like, it's a baseball score. Are they playing the same game? It's like, it was, Anyway, but then we had the upside because then your guys were playing on Monday and that was always going to be better, right?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the Giants probably played better this game than they did the first 2 weeks. But he said, I know he got sacked 5 or 6 times, but
yeah, your O-line was a bit off the ball at some times, wasn't it?
Oh, Evan Neal just looks a bit out of his depth at the moment, but he will come at. You know what I mean? He's still a rookie. Again, he was up against Lawrence and he was just getting bulled all over the place. But Parsons, and obviously the interception at the end, the Giant receiver fell down and he was doing a cut, and then it was a beautiful catch. Ken, you got his hand right under the ball, right in the ground, and caught it. But the game was over by then anyway, because we were like 10 points behind anyway.
Yeah, so he was throwing stuff around.
Again, they started off well, nice short, quick passes and moving the ball. But yeah, just Dallas defense is always going to be better.
Yes, the thing is, I suppose it's the same. Denver was a step up from Seattle and Chicago for us as well. So maybe that was a bit of a rude awakening. Bad news about Shepard though, isn't it? Isn't he got a bad one?
Yeah, I think he's out for the season. I think, but the contract runs out as well, so I can't imagine him playing for the Giants again. So he's not been fit for the last 3-4 years. So
he's always been in and out. But I suppose from that sort of having that experienced receiver in your core for all the young guys, it would have been good for him to be fit to the lead.
Well, it's certainly not Tony who can't catch a cold at the moment. So.
That's not helping one of my fantasy leagues. I had him in there. It's like, it's not really what I wanted from that guy. I thought he was the one. And Robinson was injured as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he was out too. And Galladay just get him, put him on IR, just do something, get ready. Because obviously bring Slayton in. Slayton does well when he gets on the field. You just have to bring up. And they got the boy for Detroit. Is it Pemberton? The boy that dropped the touchdown in the final preseason game and got dropped. But he's actually a nice player. Like he's on the practice squad, I think, so he might get elevated. So.
He might get elevated with the way things are going with the injuries and the knocks and stuff like that.
They've got nobody else to throw to. There
seems to be a dearth of receivers and a number of teams. There's yours. I mean, I know Green Bay have. Everyone thought.
Look at the Bucks.
Bucks have got. They had
top 3 receivers were out. It's unreal. Like
scratching the surface. I mean, you've got to wonder how is it just one of those things? Is there something in the preseason where they didn't really get enough, or is it just? Who knows what it is this year? It just seems.
Well, obviously Evans was just getting suspended for being an idiot. But, yeah.
Well, no, for defending his quarterback apparently.
Who started in the first place?
Who was the one who caused all the issues in the first place because it wasn't going very well for him.
Yeah,
funny. I don't know. Did you manage to catch the Bills-Dolphin game? Because obviously, I think that's the one that everyone was talking about in the main game of the week.
Yeah,
I think.
Miami's defense, they did well, just breaking up passes, and they think the Heat definitely got to Buffalo because they were just absolutely exhausted.
No, by the end of it, they were.
They were just, and they were rattled. You mean? And obviously they had 4 rookies in the backfield at the safety and cornerback. So against Waddle and Hill. Even Hill had quite a quiet game as well, but still.
Yeah, I think they didn't scorch them, did you? Which you thought might have happened, because as you say, they're all kind of bare bones secondary core for Buffalo. But yeah, by the end of it, they all looked dead on their feet, didn't they? I think they just played too many plays by the sounds of it.
Was it 71 plays that either ran or threw for Allen? So no, I didn't knackered, right? But
no wonder by the end of it, it was just like somebody just hold me up in that throw where he just couldn't even. Seemed to have the energy to just throw it in the flat.
Yeah,
it's a bizarre sort of news. It's some bizarre. I'm not sure bizarre scores, but nothing majorly stands out as a shock. Well, apart from the turnaround of the Jags, I suppose that's 2 in a row now for them. They seem to be.
Well, the Colts beating Kansas City was after what happened the week before, but
getting pasted by the Jags and then beating the Chiefs. That's right. I know. I read something that Matt Ryan went round and kicked a few people up the arse, and told them that wasn't good enough and whatever else. Which kind of the whole point of getting Matt Ryan into Indy was to get that leadership. But yeah, I mean,
but he wasn't.
I don't think
he wasn't that great either in that game.
No, but hopefully he kicked himself. But yeah, it seemed to have worked. But yeah, I mean, the Jags turning over the Chargers, although how much of that was the fact Herbert was still busted up around the ribs?
Well, he probably shouldn't have been playing, to be honest. Like, you've got your franchise quarterback. You can take a loss and try and get your quarterback better or not.
Yeah,
keeping him in the game at the end when they're getting hammered was just stupid.
That just seems silly, doesn't it? Because
they're a hard hitting team, the Jags. So
I mean, that's inevitably what happens, isn't it? It's one of those, he'll get another hit in the wrong place, or land there in the wrong way, and it's just it could be a season ender. So why would you do that? Why would you not just wrap him in cotton wool and go take the L and get out of here?
And I don't understand why the Saints are sticking with Winston when he's got 3 broken ribs.
3 fractured back or something.
So
I heard.
Stick Bridgewater in for a couple of weeks until he gets better.
Or Dalton or whoever it is they've got.
What's it, Dalton?
Bridgewater. I think Teddy's at Miami, isn't he? He's only back up too.
Oh yeah, so he is. Yeah.
But I think they've got Andy Dalton, who's more than adequate and will fill a gap and plug it. But why are they persisting with somebody that can't be comfortable? It can't be. It's got to be impacting on his playing ability, his
especially
throwing.
Deep throws. Yeah.
Deep throws. He's got to launch into it. There's no way with 3 fractured vertebrae. I mean, first of all, how's he even standing up? Because you just think fractured vertebrae, you've got to be. You'd be in traction. How's he? Yeah. Or how was he even breathing? So yeah.
But of course, then you come to like Tua, like he got up like he'd had about 25 pints, so he could have a walk.
Yeah, I was surprised he wasn't taken off and put head IA on, HIA.
There's no way that was a bad back. He smacked his head off the ground. That's a concussion.
That's not back when he's can barely stand up and sort of fall over and his legs give way. That is concussed. Yeah. How he got back in the game, how he should not have been back in that game.
No. I don't know what they should get like
that. I mean, it's interesting because you look at that because I don't, rugby over here. If somebody went like that on a rugby pitch, they'd be off the pitch in hospital straight away. And do they have the same sort of protocols over there to worry about concussions? Especially, you'd think so.
With they're
supposed to, but if they got away, if they called that a bad back, then somewhere's not quite right.
I don't think he even got in the tent. You know what I mean? Look at Higgins. He got sandwiched again. He was out for the count almost, and he had to go in the tent even when he was up walking off the pitch. But then Tua, the quarterback, it wasn't even that bad a push. It's just the way he smacked his head off the ground.
He just went down and he just didn't brace himself, did he? Just bounced his head off the back. But yeah, I mean, how he got up, and if they didn't put him in the tent at least, then somebody somewhere should be questioning that, you got to think.
I think there's been a few about that, but don't know what's going to happen. It's a bit late now anyway. But
yeah, it's done and dusted now, but interesting, from the
they're playing on Thursday as well, so against Cincinnati.
Short turnaround for them, yes. They got a short turnaround, and the Saints a pretty short turnaround because they're playing early Sunday morning for the US guys, aren't they? Because they're now over here.
Yes, I know. I've got Cook as my running back in my main league, and it's a touch and go whether he's going to play. So.
Yeah, he doesn't look good either. I think Mattison seems to be getting picked up a lot on waivers as the backup. It doesn't. Everyone's playing it day by day, but it's a good call if you can grab him. But I went waiver hunting today, and most of the people in my groups have already nabbed him or picked him up, which is kind of annoying.
Or Herbert.
Or Herbert. Yeah, Khalil Herbert. Chicago looks like he's going to be running over people as well.
Yeah, I did pick up.
Matchups are good.
I picked him up in one league on Sunday morning and played him in the Superflex, so that was quite a handy one.
Oh, very nice pick. Yeah, I think that might be the one where you battered me. Thanks for that, by the way. There is one league where you. Yeah. we don't talk about that though. But yeah, speaking of the London games, obviously, NFL teams have flown in. I think even the Saints were in already. I think they turned up Sunday. So, and the Vikings, I've seen a few social media posts where they're in Tottenham Stadium already and stuff like that. So the circus is in town for the UK fans. This is our opportunity to finally get to see some of it from a little closer.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, you got around the NFL group are all over there too. Like they flew right after the games on Sunday.
So everyone's around. So it's all go in the UK. I mean,
and of course, they were at the UK Germany game last night.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Of Did you hear that podcast when they said the
I'm
Germany game?
the occasion. Bless.
They got a quick note saying England.
That would be the England-Germany game. I can imagine how quickly some few people jumped all over that one. But yeah,
nobody pointed out the fact it wasn't a World Cup qualifier; it was a Euro Nations. But
you don't care about that bit. You can get that bit wrong, but yeah,
but
don't
the
worry
UK,
about the UK bit. You can't get away with that. So yeah, I mean, and I think I was reading that they're doing a takeover of the South Bank in London on Saturday, and I'm assuming you're coming down for the Giants game the week after, right?
Yeah, I'm down. Come flying down on a Friday morning. So.
Friday morning. So hopefully they'll do something similar the week when you arrive. I know they're doing it for this week.
There's a big Green Bay thing, I think, on the Saturday, I think. But my mate's down, he's a Green Bay fan, so he'll probably want to go to that. So
I should imagine so. I mean, you got to expect that they'll probably push it on a more of a Green Bay thing than a Giants thing, just because it's their first time coming over, and I think they do and probably are having a bigger following over here than the Giants.
Yeah.
So you expect the Green Bay side of it to be in full swing, I think. But as you say,
there's a pub there's a Giants thing on in a pub in London somewhere, but I can't mind where it is. On the Saturday night. So.
There is. London pubs have been taken over by certain people. Yeah. So they've taken certain pubs for the NFL. Let me just look at that. I read it, and it's going to annoy me because I think it's is it the Barrow and no,
I can't remember what it was.
Oh, it's going to annoy me now. So I literally was reading it the other day where they're doing that. So yeah.
I said, all Giants fans welcome. So I might go along, but see how far it is from where I'm staying and all that and stuff like that.
Yeah, where are you stopping anyway?
I'm staying at Paddington, so I'm sort of central. So.
Central, sort of leftish side. I think the pubs might be sort of London Bridgey area, but it's it's doable on tubes. You're going to be getting around and about anyway, so there's no way you're going to stay in Paddington when everything that's going on. So.
No, it's just my daughter always me to go and visit the Paddington statue in the station, so I might as well stay near there and get it over and done with.
Get it done early, get the picture as soon as you land. Look, here he is. Yep, got the marmalade. There you go, and you can properly get into it.
Well, the last time I was down, one time I did a marathon walk on the Saturday, but I got tickets for the Jaguars against the Baltimore game on the Sunday. Of course, I was nowhere near Paddington, so I had to go all my way out my way to get a picture of this bear and then head up to the game. And that's when the Jaguars absolutely hammered Baltimore. It was like 40-odd nil.
It wasn't even close, was it?
Yeah. Just like the Baltimore had the best defense in the league at that point.
It was a bit. I remember. So everyone was like, "Is that really happening?" And you do wonder whether or not that is because of the travel, and do teams get affected as much, or do they acclimatise? And it'd be interesting. Do they actually kind of stick to their time zones?
I think a lot of them. Like some still don't come over till Wednesday, Thursday, which I think is really crazy. Like they should come over on the Monday to get your body used to the thing.
Well, if nothing else, as you say, especially if they're coming from different altitudes and stuff like that. I suppose these ones, nobody's you haven't got Denver coming in, you haven't got Mile High, sort of all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but you do in week 8, is it? No, week 9. Denver are they not playing at Wembley against the Jaguars?
Yes, so they're gonna. You assume they'd be coming in. Earlier, just as you say, to get kind of used to it and acclimatise. So it's quite an interesting one. I mean, it would be interesting to find out if you could ever do it. How do the teams deal with it? Do they keep to their US time zones? Do they change? Do they go over the jet lag? What do they do? Because I know from a Formula One perspective, I know the teams when they do those, flyaway races, they say, right, no, you go to bed when you would normally go to bed, even though it's middle of the day or whatever else in the Asian countries. So it'd be interesting to find that out.
Yeah, but we see when they do their training, it is UK time when you see them at the training grounds and that. So obviously they don't completely stick to it. They maybe stay up the first night until they get back and then just sleep for a bit the next day.
I guess, I mean, you think about it. I guess it's just a pretty long road game. If you're coming from the East Coast to West Coast, you're doing the same sort of time zones differences anyway. So they must kind of be well versed and well used to the changes to body time and body clocks.
Definitely.
So looking forward to week 4 for you. Who are the Giants up against? Is it a divisional game for you guys, or is it a chance?
The 2-1 Bears. So
Should be. You're looking for going
hopefully win
3-1.
This is probably the first game of the season I thought we were going to win at the start of the season. So again, I didn't expect to win any of the first three. This is when I thought we were going to win our first one. So hopefully we win 2-1. And you've got a tough Monday night game against the Rams, have you not?
Just an easy Monday night game against the
With
reigning
no left,
with
no left tackle,
no left tackle, rookie interior offensive lineman, and a backup quarterback.
Yes, your defense is going to be busy that night, I think.
Well, they were pretty busy on Sunday. Hopefully, they've been given the week off, quite frankly, because otherwise they're going to be rinsed if they haven't had a good rest this week.
At least you got the extra day as well. So
have the extra day, but it is, it's a nice easy trip. Actually, is it a trip? I can't remember if we were away or at home. Actually, no, you mentioned that. I think we are. No, we're at home. No, so they are coming to visit, but again, it's not massively far from LA to San Francisco and to Santa Clara, so it's not like you can hope that the road trip and the journey is going to impact on them. And you've got to look at that and think, well, we could be hammered. We could be on the end of a bit of a hammering there.
But it depends what Stafford shows up. So
depends what Jimmy G. Well, I was going to say that, but no. Yeah, you're right. It does depend on what Stafford turns up.
You know what Jimmy G is going to turn up. So that's not really hard. It's what Stafford's going to show up. But.
Yeah, exactly. It's how we manage it. I mean, one good thing for the 49 from our perspective, from a UK specific perspective, they have rescheduled the official watch party. They were going to do it for the first game of the season against the Bears, but obviously state funeral, everything happened, they had to pull it, and they've rescheduled it for week 6. So the Falcons game, anybody in the UK who's a 49ers fan or even a Falcons fan, get yourself to the Box Bar in Leeds. There's the 49ers are actually putting on an official watch party, so they'll have ex-49er players, 49er staff. I think apparently there might be some Gold Rush-esque type, cheerleaders and game time and sounds and giveaways and everything else. So look it up on Facebook. The official 49ers Facebook group has got that information, and obviously the 49er Faithful UK group that I'm part of, specific to the UK, and the UK official booster group. We're pretty proud that we've managed to reschedule that and put that back on. So that's a positive.
Today, actually, it was quite good.
Yes, it's a positive in after a real sort of downer from Monday morning. So
it should be a good game.
That's something. It should be a good game, and it's going to be. Yeah, they're up and down, and it should be and it's going to be one of those games where we're going to need to claw and fight for everything, buddy. Because as I say, I reckon we may well be on the end of a bit of a hiding against the Rams. Then we got the Panthers, who are looking pretty good with Baker now. They're starting to roll a little bit. So by the time we get round to the Falcons, it might be one of those must wins.
Yeah, but you usually not too bad against the Rams. So again, if you can stifle them a bit, then
if we could somehow control Aaron Donald, we might be okay. But my concern is Aaron Donald usually is controlled by Trent Williams, and if we don't have Trent, and then we have 3 rookie interior linemen, and then Aaron Donald may be the big disrupting force that we know he can be.
I suppose, and not a mobile quarterback to get away from him. So.
Oh, then again, it could be time for Debo to do Debo things against the Rams, and that might be our game plan of just get the ball to Debo,
or just run away from him.
Run the other way. Yeah, run the other way. Just wherever he is, run the other side.
Yeah, either run away from him or do screens past them to just get away from him. Because they got you'll think of something to try and
you've got to schedule around. He's the kind of player you have to change your game plan for, not kind of the other way around, isn't it? You can't really. There's no way you could ignore somebody of his caliber in the opposing defensive line.
I just put 4 defenders around Cup because nobody else can catch a ball on that team anyway.
That's true. Yes, you can just ignore everybody else. Just make sure
Higbee can catch a ball, but Robinson can't. Look at them. Look at the touchdown he missed when it's easier to catch and miss it. So we're right through.
Then again, but then can Stafford even look at anybody else that doesn't have a number 10 on the back? That's the other thing. It does seem to rely on him, but then why wouldn't you if the guy you're throwing to is Cooper Cup. And it's like,
I know that was his first rushing touchdown as well the other day. So
yeah, so maybe they've looked at us and they've gone, well, we've got a weapon just the same sort of, we're not in the same build as Debo, but he's a weapon of the same type of thing. So they've kind of worked it out. Just get the ball into his hands any way you can, jet sweeps, whatever else it takes. It's kind of how you hope maybe after this week Shanahan might have a rethink, and it's like, well, you need to get the ball into our playmakers' hands. We need to get away from the scripted stuff it up the middle runs and whatever else that are not getting in it. I mean, every third down we had, I think we had, here you go, just to highlight you with the stat, we had 1 of 10 third down conversions.
But did Denver have like 6 of 19? So it wasn't really much better.
It wasn't much better, but I mean, and all of our third downs were like 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7. They weren't 3rd and 1. They were always, because the run was just getting stuffed. It was like,
but I take it, was Kittle not playing again?
He was. He played 91% of our snaps. Jesus, not that you would know it.
Did he get thrown to it all, or did he
5 times?
Block?
5 times. 4 catches for 28, 26 yards.
Oh, geez, that's
barely.
But game 2 back, it might be a bit better when you.
It might be. You might be. Just getting back, as you say, first game in. But I thought having him back would galvanize, and he's the motor and whatever else, and you thought that might lift it. Maybe next week, now he's had a full game, it's against the Rams who he hates, etc. So maybe that's enough to get everybody fired back up, but it just seems so flat. I don't know what it was. It was just very, very, very flat.
But I think Denver had something to do with that as well, though, because all their games have been flat. So.
They were bad. Yeah, I thought they would. They had a bit of a slightly tougher schedule, but I thought maybe they'd get it. But watching Denver, they did not look. They're definitely not going to be a contender in the AFC West at all. They just don't have. They just don't have anything. They just don't have.
Well, Gino's looking better in Seattle than Russell is in Denver, and that's a scary thing.
That's a terrifying thought when you think about the $260 million that they paid to Russell Wilson. But it's, again, week 3. Everyone's saying it's too early. It's too early to make any bold and over the top predictions or conversation pieces. But you've got to.
How much is Lamar going to get when he gets his contract? Because he's
those Ravens. The Ravens front office must be sitting there going, we should have signed whatever he wanted, because now he's going to be like, well, I don't know. They gave Watson 250 guaranteed. I want 300, and they'll be like, no, and then they'll be like, somebody will give it to him. Some other team will find that.
All he wanted was the guaranteed money, because obviously the way he plays, he can get injured, doesn't he? Get injured.
That's all he wanted. He didn't want as much as other players. I think some other teams and some other contracts are bigger. He didn't want that. He just wanted, as you say, the guarantee. You pay me guaranteed money, then I'll go out and play. But now he's like balling out, and everyone's like, he could just some blank check time, really.
Well, someday will pay him anyway.
Because obviously, I mean, most of it. I mean, it's not like they need the money, but as you say, the way he plays, the risk of him getting injured very quickly and his career being over. And where does he? Most of these won't have a fullback. The NFL players, will they? It's NFL punditry. And actually a lot, really, isn't it? You haven't really got much else, so you can't begrudge him wanting to get the guaranteed money up front, can you?
No, you can't. No, because the way he plays, he's a hard runner, and he gets a lot of hits. I mean, he gets sacked quite a bit too. So, yeah. But he is fun to watch. Not when I play against him in fantasy, but he's fun to watch.
He's fun to it's fun to watch. Especially the only way he's fun to watch, as you say, if he's not against your team and you have him in fantasy. But otherwise, it's he is something else. It's a cheat code. But then the Kyler Murray run, there's a few of them like that, isn't there? So.
Oh yeah, I don't like Kyler Murray. Just
toddler. Did you see the tweet that somebody put? I don't know if you saw it, but somebody said they've worked it out, or somebody described the way Kyler Murray runs is like a toddler who's stolen a mother's phone. And now I can't not watch that. You can't not see it. It's like it's exactly what it looks like. It's like, no, you can't get. I've got your phone. You can't have it back. And he's a bit something else.
You see the little body in a big helmet running about. You go, yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the one. Anyway, Johnny, appreciate you jumping on. I know it was a bit of a last minute thing. It's
No
good to
worries.
catch up with you. If I don't catch up with you next week, I don't know what your schedule's like. I don't know if you've had to shift your schedule around or whatever else to make way for the London games, or are you around?
No, I'll be around next Tuesday if you want. So.
Good stuff. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you, Johnny.
No
Have a
worries.
great week. We'll speak
You
soon.
too.
Thanks all.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.